There is plenty of debate on whether you should actually attach additional files such as images to records within your database. Some people claim it leads to database bloat and slowdowns. The hyperlink option is definitely a good way to include links to additional resources without actually embedding everything within the Access database itself. But when you do want to work with embedded documents, you want to make use of the attachment data type in your data tables and the bound object controls in your forms. Let's take a look at both. Inside of my employees table, if I scroll over here to the far right-hand side, you'll see that we have a single attachment data type here for each employee. Now we're using this attachment data type in order to store a headshot or a photo of each employee, and you can see that every employee gets their own attachment. Let's go ahead and take a look at this in a form. I'll go ahead and close the employees table and go to the Create tab, and we'll create a new form in Design View. First, I want to attach this form to my employees data table. So I'll go over here to the Data tab of the property sheet, and for the record source, I'm going to choose Employees. Then we can come up here to the Design tab of the ribbon in the Controls group, and for me it's on the second row, so I'll come down here and choose this option here, the paperclip. That's our attachment field. I'll click on that, and then I'll drag out a box to indicate where I want that to appear on my form. Now this creates an unbound attachment field here. Let me move this label out of the way so you can see it. It says unbound. Right now we need to connect it to a data source. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it over here in the Data tab to the control source of the photo here, which is the name of the attachment field in the original employees table. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this in Form View. I'll switch my view here, and we can see the attachment data type here. And it's currently populated with that photo. Now, attachment data types aren't just used for photos. In fact, if I click on it here, you'll see we get these little arrows up here on the top, and another paperclip where we can manage attachments. The attachment data type will actually allow you to store multiple attachments in the same field. So right now I just have this photo called 4.jpg, but we can add something else. Let's go ahead and add a Word document. I'll press the Add button here, and we'll go out to my desktop and find the exercise files folder here. We'll go into the Chapter 3 folder, and we're going to find this Kinetico mission statement, which is a Word document. Let's go ahead and say Open, and that'll get attached to the same field here. Let's go ahead and say OK. Now back in my form, if I click on that field here, I can use this arrow to switch to the other documents. So I can see the Word document and the photo are in the same field. Let's go ahead and save this change. And in fact, if we go over to the employees table, I'll double click on it to open it, and then take a look at Zachary Tate's record, which is this first one here, and scroll over to the right, we can see that he now has 2 attachments. Let's go ahead and close the employees table. If I browse through the different employees in this table by clicking on this button down over here, for instance, I'll go to the second person here and click on his picture, you notice I don't have that arrow icon. And if I press Manage Attachments, I only see the photo that's attached to this record. I don't see that Word document. So that Word document is tied specifically to that single employee. Go ahead and press Cancel here. Let's go ahead and take a look at one more way that we can attach files into our forms. I'll go into the View menu and switch back into Design View. Now I want to take a look at another object here. I'm going to go over here, press down, and choose this one here, the XYZ with the mountain. This is our bound object frame. Let's go ahead and select this control, and we'll add one down into my form. I'm going to drag out a big box for this one. That creates this unbound attachment here. I'm going to click and move this label, and we'll put it on top, and maybe I'll move this down just a little bit here. So now I've got this new frame here. The label here says OLE bound to. This is our bound object frame. And we'll switch back into Form View to see how to work with it. Now that creates this empty frame here. If I double click on it, I get this warning message that says the object is empty. And it says that I can't edit a bound object frame if there's nothing there. It also tells me how to fix this. I can attach something by right-clicking on the field and clicking the Insert Object button. Let's go ahead and say OK and do that. I'll right-click on it and choose Insert Object. Here I have the choice of either creating a brand new object or creating from a file. So let's go ahead and add that same Word document. I'll press Create from File. I'll click on the Browse button here. We'll browse out to the Chapter 3 folder, and I'll select that Kinetico mission statement again. We'll go ahead and say OK. And once again, we'll say OK. That'll add the Word document right here inside of my form. Now, if I browse through the different employees here, you notice that that mission statement stays put on the form. It's not attached to a specific record. It's just embedded right in the form. Let's go back here to the very first one. Now, if I wanted to edit it, I can double click on it, and that'll open up a kind of pseudo word editing session. And I say it's kind of a pseudo word because right now we're actually still inside of Access. We're inside of Access here, the Kinetico database, and then I'm inside this Word document. And you'll notice that my tabs actually changed to reflect that we're editing a Word file. I've got the Home tab, the Design tab, the Page Layout tabs. These all come straight out of Word. But I don't actually have the File tab, and I can't save it either. So it's kind of a weird editing environment, and you actually can't even zoom into it, so it's a little bit hard to edit. In order to get out of here, I'm just going to click off of this document over here on the right. That'll return me back into Access. Now, if I really want to edit this Word document, I can right-click on it, go into Document Object, and say Open. That'll open the document in Word proper. So now I really am inside of Word. I have access to the File tab and everything from Word. When I'm done with this, I can go ahead and press the X, and that'll return me back to Access. Now, the bound object frame can only hold one object at a time. If I try and right-click on it and go to Insert Object, it's going to insert a new object, and it's going to replace the Word file that I have in there now. But we can also create brand new objects right inside of here. So for instance, I can choose Create New, and I'll scroll down here, and I can choose to insert maybe a PowerPoint slide. Let's go ahead and say OK, and the Word document gets replaced with a PowerPoint slide. Once again, we're in this kind of pseudo-editing environment where I'm still inside of Access and I'm still inside of the database, but now I have tabs that correspond with something I might experience inside of PowerPoint. I've got transitions and design and so on. But I can say here and I can edit my slide. I can maybe choose this design template. And I can click here to add a title. When I'm done, I'll just press Enter, and that'll return me back into Access. If I really want to edit the slide in PowerPoint, though, I can right-click on it, go to Slide Object, and I can say Open, in which case it'll open up right inside of PowerPoint. You can see right here that this is PowerPoint here. Let's go ahead and close that out. So working with attached files can help streamline your internal workflows. By keeping often used documents together with the data records that they correspond with, you can make sure that they're always right at hand. You can also use Access as a type of document warehouse, storing useful company documents in the database so that everyone can access them quickly.